G'day, how you going? So welcome to another story by the Naked Fisherman, and that's me. I'm Glenn. Today I'm going to talk to you or show you how to tie some knots. Well, today's knot is going to be the palomar knot. So getting out the trusty whiteboard. So the palomar knot is pal. Is palomar. It's palomar. P-A-L-O-M-A-R. Now, it's pronounced pal, as in P-A-L, O, and then ma, as in the old-fashioned for mum. It's pronounced palomar or palomar. Alrighty, so we're going to start on that today. And I want to show you, I just want you to show you how to tie the knot. So pause the video, go and get yourself some line, particularly probably something thicker, a hook, doesn't matter what sort of hook, just get a hook with a decent eyelet in it, and get yourself something to cut off your tag end. I like scissors. If you're using braid, I think the best thing is a sharp knife. So this one here I've already trimmed down. So go and get yourself some line, get yourself a hook. And then when you come back, we'll start with the knot. So I'll wait for you to go and get that. All right, so you're back. So cut yourself off a piece of line. For the sake of this, as you probably know, or you may not know, is that I'm a dive instructor with Paddy. And this is one of the cave reels that we use, well, for students. This is a student reel, and some of the instructors might use these, but I do cave diving. I'm a caving instructor. I was a Queen Scout, so I'm a caving instructor, abseiling instructor as well, canyoning instructor, and a few other things. But today, we're going to talk about the palomar knot, and I'm going to use this cave line, and I cut off just a snap eyelet, and we're going to use that for terminal tackle. So the knot today is about tying your leader or your line to terminal tackle, and that's things like hooks. You might not be able to see that. Hooks. Could be swivels, could be sinkers, or lead, or tungsten, depending on what you use, but anything that sits at the end of the line. Now, primarily I would only use it for hooks. I have different knots I like to use for swivels and things like that, but it is such an easy knot to tie. This knot I can tie with my eyes closed. And that's awesome at night, or if you want to tie quick knots. Now, in reference to the palomar knot, the palomar, so in reference to the palomar knot, they say that it has, well, depending on where you read, God, I'm a dickhead. Depending on where you've read, it typically has 70 to 80% breaking strain. Or some places you'll read 100%, but no knot has 100%. And what that means is any time you tie a knot, a piece of rope, again, I know this abseiling instructor, we've done all this testing. So every time you tie a knot in rope, in line, in anything that you can tie a knot in, you weaken that, or that becomes the weak point of the rope or the line. Now, some knots will break a lot sooner than other knots. So let's say you've got a line that can carry 2 ton and you tie a knot in it. Now depending on the sort of knot, you may reduce that down to 50%, which means that now, instead of being able to have a safe working load of 2 ton, it now becomes 1 ton. So in reference to this palomar knot, so if this had 1 ton safe working load or breaking strain on it, and it reduces down to 80%, it means that we're taking 20% off that. So it's now down to 800 kilos if we're talking in kilograms, or the equivalent if you're American. So that's the palomar knot. Now it's a knot designed for terminal tackles. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to tie the knot. So we've got our line. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to make just a loop. Now leave yourself enough tag here to make the loop. You can always cut it off. Online you'd probably, I don't know, leave anywhere from, well, in American terms, 10 inches or so, so about 20 centimeters to give you plenty of working room, maybe a little bit more. Then what we do with the loop, we thread the loop end through the eyelet, like that. So you've threaded the loop end through the eyelet. So when we're looking down, it should look like that. So we've threaded the loop end through the eyelet. And then what we do, let's tidy it all up. So then what we do is we then do an overhand knot. So we take the loop, we pass it over like that, and then just tie a simple overhand knot just like that. So I'll show you again. Again, pause it, stop it, the video, whatever you need to do. So we'll show it the other way. So you've got an eyelet that's got a loop passed through it. Now that could be called a loop or a bite, depending on who you ask. In my world, we're doing a knot that has a bite. But in this case, we've created just a loop, and then we're going to just, as if you're doing up a shoelace. So that first overhand knot. Now before you pull it all tight, tuck the terminal tackle, so your hook, in this case we're using the eyelet, through the loop. So can you see what I've done there? So there's our loop, and I'm just tucking the terminal tackle through the loop. And then a bit of saliva, wet the knot or the line, and then tighten it. So just pull it tight. Now before I do anything else, there are two theories here. You can see that I haven't pulled the loop up over the eyelet. Now in the case of a hook, now I hope you've looked at my identifying parts of the hook video, because where that loop is sitting there, it'd be sitting over the shank, and we tighten it around the shank. The other way to do it is that we pull the eyelet up and over, and then we tighten in that way. So, and we pull it all tight. All right, so what that's going to end up with, you're going to end up with a knot that looks like that. Nice and tidy, and then cut off your tag. Leave a little bit of the tag there, but this is a no-slip knot. Very easy to tie, and you can tie it with your eyes closed. So let me show you one more time. I'm just untangling the sucker, or unknotting it. Obviously, in your fishing line, you won't be able to untie it. With that, I've just made a cluster of that. Try not to swear in case my children see this video. Oh, crap. That's me. I would never do that with a bird's nest, but for the sake of this. All right, so create a loop. We're back to the beginning again. Reset, push, pause if you need to. Create a loop. All right, so just a loop. There's my leader. this is the end which the hook or your terminal tackle is going to attach to, and just create a loop, just like that. So we've created a loop. And then I'm going to pass the loop through the eyelet, through the eye of the hook, and then I'm going to create an overhand knot. So it looks just like that. Then I'm going to pass the whole terminal tackle, the whole hook through. I'm going to pass then the loop up. This isn't going to be easy to tighten because it's not a monofilament or braid, but I'm going to tighten it up for you. Obviously we lick it so that we don't get friction on the line, and you end up with that. That is a palomar knot. It's dressed, you see it's neat and tidy, there's no twists, which a twist will weaken the knot, which means that it still won't slip, but if we're looking at 80% braking strain or safe working load, it might reduce it down a further 5 or 10%. So that's it. That's the palomar knot. So watch this video over and over again until you get that knot. It's probably one of 4 or 5 knots that I say to you that you must know. It is simple, it's something you can show your kids how to tie, and if you do go fishing with your kids and you know that forever we're casting, baiting and tying bloody knots and snapping off line and re-rigging and all the things that come with wonderful parenting, God bless their little souls. So anyway, palomar knot, it's all done. Again, there's the hook. The palomar knot, you can use it on braid or monofilament. The knot's been out longer than braid or live fibre. So when you hear people say, oh, you can only use that for braid, it's not true. I use it for monofilament, I use it for braid or live fibre. It's an awesome, absolutely awesome knot, simple to tie, it's quick, and very, very hard, difficult to break. In fact, I've never had a knot, the palomar knot, I've never had that knot slip. So, woohoo, palomar! That's another edition of the Naked Fisherman with Glenn, and please remember to like us, subscribe to us, and share us with your friends. And ladies, tell your sisters and aunts and mothers that this handsome fellow that's just had a haircut, because he starts a new gig tomorrow at Davey Marine, so check out Davey Marine. They've got some awesome boats, plenty of fishing tackle, and they can set up your sports fishing boat for you and ship it anywhere around the world. So check out Davey Marine, but make sure that you like and subscribe this channel, The Naked Fisherman with Glenn. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you next time.
I'm fired.